Hi guys, Reverend Cliques here. I never did really understand cliques. Not in high school volleyball, not in coming out as a lesbian. I used to go to Spokane sometimes, and my friends would tell me about it, but I didn't really understand. It's like you go into a bar and there's these cliques of women, right? You can't talk to these guys, you can't talk to these guys, you can't. And as a grown-up, I thought, it's a little junior high, like, right? You got the mean girls and you got the smart girls and you got the... And I never really got all that stuff. It just was never a part of who I am. And now, I guess it's that way in religious circles, right? Who knows more about God? Who's closer to God? Who can help you better? Who has more money? Who's worthy of your money? And then I thought, well, okay, I guess that's just the religious right, or whatever they call it. And now that the goddess is rising, and there's a lot more people doing Mother Goddess type church, there's a lot of information about the goddess becoming more widespread, and people admitting they worship the goddess, and goddess spirituality, goddess religion, goddess clergy. And this all came to me spiritually. Just, I dreamt it, I wrote it, I channeled it. Spirit told me direct, not like a booming voice outside of me, but thoughts, things that would come to me. And then I tripped over a massive amount of information. And so I don't go to one certain person that I say, oh, this is my mentor, this is my guru, and this is who I follow. There's a lot of information from a lot of different sources, a lot of different people, but I encourage everyone to get their information from Spirit, from the goddess directly. Okay, no, that doesn't mean don't study. I study constantly. I read everything I can. I read documents online. I watch documentaries. I read things. But mostly, I check in with Spirit, with Goddess, to check with my gut, see if the information is right. And now that there's more and more people doing it, it's also getting its little cliques and sectors, and people are joining different covens where they're at, like in Wiccan or witchcraft. And I don't really like the word Wiccan so much now that I know more. I like the word, let's say, Italian witchcraft or Dianic witchcraft, but more to the female role and not necessarily the Wicca stuff that came later. But at any rate, it's like I listen to these people in Wiccan, in covens, men and women, and a lot of times the men are leading and they're like, well, he says to do this or he says to do that, or I mean, there can be corruption and perversion in any type of a group, and they lay these guilt trips on, like they think they have a sense of entitlement because they've been doing it 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So they own whether or not you're able to call yourself a priest, a priestess, a pastor, a reverend, a spiritual leader, because you have to go through their rites. Okay, all this knowledge is handed down over centuries, and it's important, and you need to make sure you're getting it from the right source so that you can get certified among their approval. Okay, to me, that has nothing to do with the goddess. I remember years ago when I was reading spiritual stuff, I think it was in one of the Cryon books. It might have been a Pleiadian book, but it was talking about, people like me will be studying for my whole life, and I'll finally start to learn some stuff, and people that are born or some there'll be a time where people they'll just know all that stuff that I took 20 years to learn. And I was like, hey, gosh darn it, I've learned all this, like the people that get PhDs and then they're all butthurt because someone else was just given one or whatever. Or if they call themselves a doctor of theology, then they're like, hey, how can they call themselves a doctor when I did the work? The thing is that it's happened. That's all ego-based, okay? If you're given a quantum of just leap, you get a whole bunch of information, okay, Some people study a whole lifetime, sometimes people just know. People that are in touch with the Akashic records and they can go and look at things all the time, they just know. Your relationship to divinity, your relationship to spirit, to goddess, and to your own self has nothing to do with your coven, with your pastor, with your priest, with your church, with your theology school, and all of this man-made stuff has nothing to do with your relationship to spirit, okay? You can do none of that or all of that and still have a connection with goddess, okay? Your study with goddess is with goddess. Okay, these people in these cliquey little groups that act like you have to do everything they say in order to be a goddess clergy, or be a minister, or be a Wiccan minister, or to be a witch, or to call yourself a high priestess. You have to go through all of their hoops. No, you don't. Okay, you go through goddess. That's them clinging to fear. That's them clinging to, hey, I did the work, so you have to do the work. No. Some people just say, hey, I make a living at being me, and money falls. Other people are like, I believe in working really hard. I work for a living, and I'm the best. And so they work their fingers to the bone. What's that song? Work your fingers to the bone. What do you get? Bony fingers. Okay? You don't have to work for money. Money can fall from the sky. You can do your spiritual work. You can do whatever it is that you love. If you believe into the fact that you have hard work and retirement and all of these illusions of man, if you believe that, then that's your reality. Okay? If you believe you have to go to school for 5, 10, 20 years to be a high priestess, or to be in the goddess clique or the goddess clergy the way that the group that you're in says, fine. You have to have 4 years, you have to have certain levels, okay. It's a relationship with the divine, folks. It's not karate, for example, where you get a black belt, you get these different belts. Your body literally cannot get to these levels without building up to these levels. Okay, that's the human vehicle. The spirit's not like that. Nobody owns a relationship with God, with goddess, with the divine. And if people are judging you and saying, some guilt trip and shame and all this stuff that's about them, how in the world does that have anything to do with your relationship to goddess? If they're not teaching you how to be closer to goddess, how to yourself be a healer, be a psychic, heal yourself and heal others, if they're all like, keep coming back to me and I will spiritually counsel you and get you through every day. Keep coming back to me and I will heal you every day. Keep coming back to me, give me your money, give me your time, give me your energy, because I'm the superhero goddess and I'm the high priestess and I will bestow unto you. No. No man, no woman has the power to do that unless you let them. I don't let them, okay? I don't do goddess cliques, okay? I don't follow people, okay? Doesn't mean I don't learn from people. I certainly don't think I know everything. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot and a million, zillion, trillion, billion things more. Yeah, trillion's a word. I have to learn. But I'm not going to seek that out in a group where everybody's stroking each other's ego and there's some leader that you have to go through to get to goddess. Okay, if we're all sharing information and having stimulating conversation, I'm learning, they're open to learning, that's great. But if the leader of the group in the goddess clique thinks they're the god and thinks they're in charge of you and thinks they're goddess and they're the ones that are going to hand out the certificates or tell you whether you're a spiritual leader, whether you can lead others, whether you can call yourself a high priestess, or any name that you might possibly want to give yourself, you have to ask permission of another human being. That has nothing to do with the divine and goddess, folks. Okay? Thank you for listening, and goddess bless you all.